Welcome to the 2020 Character on Track Youth of Character Awards, the online version. We love doing the Youth of Character Awards banquet each year, but this year is different for all of us. However, we still wanted to honor you. This video is for all of you amazing students who not only make all of us very proud, but you also give each of us hope for a bright future, knowing that you will someday lead us. Many of the parents sent us pictures, and you will see them in this presentation. There are 99 honored students here, and each of you will see an excerpt written about you. We want to send out a great big thank you to all the teachers who are involved in your lives and who wrote in these nominations. To you, the parents, for what you have done to raise these amazing students. And to you, the students, and all the things you have done to let your character shine through and show us who you really are. And finally, to the many sponsors that make this program and this banquet possible, both online and if we were doing it in person. We want you to know that your names are very, very important, not only to you, but also to us. We have tried our very best to get them right. And if we do them wrong, and I'll bet we will, please accept our apology for that error. The order of appearance in this video is the order the names are listed in the program. You should have a copy of that program in the packet sent to you. It is also available on our website. All right. Let's begin. Let's start things off with Haven Larson from Lennox Intermediate, where she is in the 5th grade. Haven is a wonderful young lady. She is so kind to everyone she meets. She always sees the best in every situation and has a contagious personality. Haven works hard in everything and does so with a smile. In class, she helps me make copies or be a leader within the classroom. Haven has a great future in front of her. Let me introduce McKinley Kramer, a 5th grader at R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. McKinley is a wonderful role model for others. She is always kind, respectful, and encouraging to classmates and adults. I can always trust McKinley to do the right thing despite what others around her may be doing. She gets along with everyone and makes our classroom a better place with her positive attitude and quiet leadership. Let's meet Kylie Guthmiller from Menno Public Schools. She is a 5th grader. Kylie is a young girl with a remarkable character. She is hardworking and loved by all. Here is Elena Ebert, a 4th grader from Tri-Valley Elementary. Elena has a big heart and always caring for her classmates before herself. She has grown so much as a student and as a person over the past few months I have known her. She comes to school every day with a smile on her face and with a positive attitude. No matter the situation, Elena always finds the good in it. Next, we have Easton Timmermans from Lennox Elementary, where he's in the 4th grade. Easton is a self-motivating 4th grader at Lennox Elementary. He's always prepared and does his best work in his studies. Easton is a real team player by helping out his classmates by being kind to them when they need help. He is always respectful to his teacher. I can see Easton going far in life because of his great attitude and determination. And introducing Tyler Lewis, a 3rd grader at Liberty Elementary. Tyler is known for his kindness. This year, his kindness was exemplified in a very specific way. He chose to show kindness to students that struggle in the area of math. He has a keen interest in teaching others in a very refreshing and positive way. This year, he signed up to become what our classroom calls a Zelper. That takes time away from his own studies, but Tyler has proved himself over and over again. Let's get to know Briley Labor, a fourth grader at Robert Bannis Elementary. I am nominating Briley because she goes above and beyond every day in my class to make herself and classmates better students. She is always willing to help anyone who is struggling with schoolwork on social issues. This willingness to help helps me in so many ways. She is a poster child for this award. I want to introduce you to a fifth grader from Hawthorne Elementary School, Robert Hamerly. Robert is an outstanding kid. He is dependable and reliable. Teachers and other students can always count on him. He has a great attitude about school and life, is a hard worker, and perseveres through challenges. Robert's smile lights up the room, and other kids look to him as a friend. He shows Ubuntu through and through. Please meet Hannah Schaefer from Parker Elementary School. She is a sixth grader. Hannah is a model student who has such a strong work ethic and desire to learn. When other students need help with their math, Hannah is an awesome teacher and has such a great way of helping others understand difficult concepts. And introducing from Meadow Public Schools, an eighth grader, Julius Carr. Julius is a hard worker and wants to excel in everything he does, both academically and in athletics. He is very respectful in my classroom to me and to the other students. Julius is very responsible about getting his work done on time and helps to hold other students accountable in their studies. He shows his kindness in his willingness to help others in and out of the classroom. Presenting Julia Tveit, a third grader at Explorer Elementary. Julia is an overall amazing student. She is kind to everyone, hardworking, and you can always count on her. She is a responsible student who gets her work done. She is looked up to by her peers and thought highly of by the adults that interact with her. Next we have Brea Sells, who is a fourth grader at Baltic Elementary. Brea is an excellent student of character both in and out of the classroom. She thinks about how others feel and how her actions can affect them. Brea is a friend to everyone and always inclusive. She always tries to look at the positives and doesn't speak negatively about others or herself. Brea really listens to people and thinks before she speaks. Here is Noah Grabow, a fourth grader at RF Pettigrew Elementary. Noah is consistently working hard and putting himself fully into whatever lies before him. He is an active participant in all classroom discussions and an engaged learner no matter what the subject matter. Noah is very reliable, extremely trustworthy, and a kind and compassionate boy, but still manages to have fun both in and out of the classroom. We welcome from Jolly Elementary in Vermilion a fourth grader, Theodore Naismith. Teddy is the perfect role model of good character. He is always setting the bar high for his peers. Teddy works hard to do his absolute best. School naturally comes easy for him, but this doesn't hinder his work ethic. He is always pushing himself to read more challenging books, solve new problems, and write with more detail. From Lennox Intermediate, here is Willie Storm, a sixth grader. Willie is a fun-loving, great kid. He shows great respect to students and teachers every day. His kindness really shines through when he helps other students or teachers throughout the building. All of his past teachers think he is a great, great kid. Now let's meet Jackson Johnson, who's a third grader out at Worthing Elementary School. Jackson is a role model for his peers. He often sets the example of what respect looks like in the classroom. He listens to others without interrupting and reminds others what expectations are by his words and his actions. He is always willing to help others when he finishes his work. Often he is found helping others clean up their stations, supplies, or papers. Let me introduce Jersey Hostetler, a fourth grader from Lennox Elementary. Jersey is constantly helping her classmates and her teacher. I can always rely on her to be respectful, accountable for her homework, and show kindness to everyone she meets. Jersey will be the type of girl who will make a real impact in the world around her. I can't wait to see what she can accomplish with her can-do attitude. Tegan Lupkus comes to us from West Central Elementary out in Humboldt. She's in fifth grade. Tegan is a student in which the entire school looks up to. She is also a member of our student council and has been selected to be a part of it for 2 years in a row. Her continuous positive energy helps build others up, and it spreads to others as soon as Tegan enters a room. She is a great role model. Let's meet Ava Bain, a third grader at Christ the King Elementary. Ava shows exemplary character in a variety of ways and is a respectful student to both her peers and teachers alike. In our classroom, we have the motto, "We've got grit, we don't quit." Ava demonstrates this each day as she's willing to take on challenging new tasks. She does this with a smile on her face and a can-do attitude. Let's meet Jake Long, a third grader from JFK Elementary. Jake goes out of his way to be helpful and welcoming to new students. He sticks up for students who are being left out or treated unfairly. Many times in his classrooms, other students will share, "I had nobody to play with, and Jake saw that and came and played with me at recess." He is especially helpful for a fellow classmate with special needs and can always be counted on to assist him and advocate for him. He makes the school day better for everyone around him and does it quietly without drawing any attention to himself. Here is Maya Reef, a third grader from Coleman Egan Elementary. Maya is a hardworking student who puts forth her best effort in school. Her charismatic personality follows her both in and out of the classroom. Without hesitation, she will offer to step up and help when needed. Maya is always kind to her peers and respectful to her teachers. Next, we have Dylan Bailey from R.F. Pettigrew Elementary, where he is in the fifth grade. Dylan is so positive and makes positive comments about school, his peers, and his teachers. Every day, he is smiling, listening, and putting forth his best effort. Dylan collaborates and gets along with all his peers in the classroom. Sometimes at the end of the day, he picks up the floor, and throughout the day, he helps others without any expectation of being recognized. And now I present Sarah Perung, a fifth grader. She's from Rosa Parks Elementary. Sarah was in my fourth grade classroom, and she proved to be a true leader in my room. If a student needed help and I was busy with another student, she would jump right in without being asked. She was on Rosa Parks Student Council as a fourth grader and is currently on the Student Council as a fifth grader. Introducing Trig Barnes, a third grader from Liberty Elementary. Trig is a walking billboard of citizenship. He is articulate, loyal, hardworking, and curious. He communicates better than most adults and is not afraid to speak his mind. His voice is a gift and will serve him well, and he uses it to share his knowledge, ask thought-provoking questions, and congratulating others. This year, he wrote a letter to the principal about a change he was passionate about. It was filled with solution-based ideas, including a charity fundraiser. Presenting Claire Berg. From Baltic Middle School, she's a 7th grader. Claire is a great example of what a kind and respectful role model looks like. She comes to school each day with a smile and a positive attitude. As a coach, I see this each day from Claire. She is always lending a helping hand to her teammates, coach, and teachers. She is always being respectful during practices and applying any feedback she receives. This is Easton Erickson, a 6th grader from St. Catherine Drexel Elementary. Easton has proven to be trustworthy and shows respect to his peers, the teachers, and other staff members throughout the school. He turns in his assignments on time and is always willing to help a fellow classmate when needed. Easton has shown kindness throughout the school to students in preschool through 6th grade. Introducing Jalen Fouds, a 5th grader at Lenox Intermediate School. Jalen is a student in my class I can always rely on for an extra hand or for someone to be a leader in reminding the other students how to follow expectations. She cares for our classroom and will do anything I ask, and sometimes will just take it upon herself to do work I don't even ask her to do. This is Elijah Holtz, a 3rd grader at Worthing Elementary. Elijah exudes kindness to every person he meets. He is selfless and puts others' interests first. Eli is often found doing the right thing with no intention of getting praise or rewards. An example of his kindness was when he served 2 kindergarten students the rest of the popcorn at the Christmas party, even though he was in front of them in line. Let's get to know Austin Pitts, a 6th grader at Tri-Valley Elementary. Austin has worked hard this year to be his best student in our classroom. He is responsible and reliable in completing tasks assigned to him. He maintains a positive attitude and promotes this behavior to be the same among his peer groups. Although he doesn't say much, his actions say a lot about his character. From Annie Sullivan Elementary, this is Harper Lundgren. He is a 4th grader. Harper exemplifies good character every day he comes to school, showing up with a positive attitude and is ready to learn. He shows kindness by helping his classmates with assignments and inviting them to play games at recess. He demonstrates respect by always following directions the first time he is asked and using a polite voice tone when talking to adults and people. Let me introduce Nathan Flanagan, a 4th grader at Endeavor Elementary. Nathan is only 10 years old, but carries himself with the maturity and emotional intelligence of an older soul. Nathan has first-hand experience with the toll unkindness can have on kids, but he was able to stand up for himself and ask for help when he was faced with bullying. Rather than hold resentment, Nathan's first thought was to forgive those who mistreated him. He now advocates for others who might be in a similar situation. Let's meet Sydney Simon. She's a senior from Menno High School. Sydney is a very talented and conscientious student who works hard to improve and accepts constructive criticism with grace, all the time with a positive attitude. I have had Sydney in several art classes, and it has been my pleasure to watch her grow and develop as an artist and into the lovely, creative young lady she is today. Here is Elena Olinger, a third grader from Liberty Elementary. Elena is so kind to her classmates. She is always considering other people's feelings. She is always honest and takes responsibility for everything she does. Elena is just so positive, and that spreads to others so easily. She is a real leader by example. And now I present Carter Rudin, a fourth grader from Hanson. Carter is a student who works hard and gives 100% every day. He shows respect to his teachers as well as his classmates and shows kindness every day to others. Carter has a good work ethic because he wants to do well in school, and he puts in extra time at home to help him be successful. He is a student who shines bright every day. From Harrisburg High School, introducing Madison McCoy, sophomore. Madison is an outstanding student. She is always excited to learn and very willing to be involved in class. She works well with all the students in class and is very good at helping other learners better understand the content. Her character and kindness are unmatched by most other students. Please meet Logan Stahlberg, a fourth grader at R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. Logan is able to interact with all of his peers in a respectful and kind way. It doesn't matter what the situation is or group of students involved, he is able to bring positive actions and thoughts into the situation. He shows integrity by admitting his faults and moves forward by righting his wrongs. He is a dependable student and classmate. Let's get to know Ryan Luden, a fourth grader from Lenox Elementary. Ryan Luden models a persistent work ethic, a positive disposition and attitude each school day. The 5 marks of character, accountability, citizenship, kindness, respect, and trustworthiness are so evident on a day-to-day basis that one might perceive the traits as not only being mastered, but also natural to him. Ryan is most certainly a leader. From Lenox Intermediate School, a 6th grader, I want to introduce you to Carson Eichen. Carson is a great kid and always tries his best. He looks to help others and to be trustworthy. I rely on him as a student leader. Here is a 5th grader that comes to us from Menno. Let's meet Zoe Schaefer. Zoe is a young girl with a remarkable character. She is hardworking and loved by all. Please meet Hudson DeMore, a 3rd grader at St. Mary Elementary. Hudson is one of my students that I can always count on. He is one who works very hard in school, even though some things do not come as easily to him. Whenever I group students in the classroom, he is the one student who I know gets along with everyone and will try to include everyone. Leighton Daniels is a 3rd grader at Explorer Elementary. Leighton is an overall great student. He is very respectful of all adults and peers. Leighton is hardworking and kind. He is always willing to lend a hand to help out. I can always count on him. Please meet Presley Helmbrecht, a 5th grader, JFK Elementary. Presley is the epitome of the words selflessness and generosity. Just recently, Presley generously gave a friend of his a plethora of gifts for Christmas, a friend who may otherwise not be able to afford many gifts for Christmas. Presley did this all for his friend, not because he was asked to, but out of the goodness of his heart. When asked how he was able to afford all these gifts, Presley told us that he raised money through a hot chocolate stand, which he did in his free time. Presenting Braxton Noble, a fourth grader at R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. In school, Braxton shows respect by following expectations and guiding others to make good choices. Braxton is motivated, conscientious, and responsible for his learning. He takes his role as a learner in the classroom seriously and uses his time wisely. He has established a reputation with his peers as one who can be relied upon and will always do the right thing, even when no one is watching. Next, we have Levi Stafler, a fifth grader, Rosa Parks Elementary. Levi is a perfect example of good character. He sits by a student with autism and is so patient and willing to help this student be successful. He will be the first to admit when he did something he wasn't supposed to. He finds ways to include other students in games and activities. He also shows perseverance in challenging subjects. He will come in at recess to ask about a math homework assignment he was unsure about. Let me introduce William Stokes, a seventh grader from Menno Middle School. Every day I see this young man showing kindness to his classmates or just a random person he passes in the hall. He usually has a smile on his face and is always willing to help someone who needs it. I've heard him give encouraging words to a student who was struggling, a pat on the back to someone to tell them they did a good job, or share a joke or two with his teacher and the class. The world needs more kids in the world like William, who can be himself in a sea of world who are different and treat everyone the same. From Parker Elementary, a sixth grader, let's meet Landon Weeman. Landon is the most respectful student I have had in the 7 years I have taught. He always is quiet and attentive when he needs to be. He shows kids how they should act and people follow his lead. When speaking to adults, he is always respectful. He uses pleases and thank yous and always speaks with eye contact. He is always ready to help his peers when they are struggling and works to help all that need it. Here is Carrie Lawson, a fourth grader at Baltic Elementary. Carrie comes off as a shy young lady, but once you get to know her, you will soon see that she has the kindest heart. Carrie cares about her classmates, teachers, and of course, cats. Although Carrie is soft-spoken, wait until you hear her read. It won't take long until you are captivated into the story she is reading. Next, we have Max Mebius, a fourth grader at St. Catherine Drexel. Max is a role model for his classmates and throughout the school. He always tries his hardest, is very helpful, and you can trust that he will do the right thing, even when it might be hard. Max consistently picks up after himself and is always the first one to jump in to pick up someone else's mess that was left. He has proven to be reliable and responsible by turning in his assignments on time, and he remembers all of his materials for class. Next, we present Ellie Pickett, a fourth grader from Baltic Elementary. I can always count on Ellie to be kind to others. Even if she is having a rough day, she will find a way to make someone else smile. Ellie is always thinking about other people and how she can make a positive impact on them. She is always honest, even when it is tough. She takes responsibilities for her actions and accepts the consequences, whether they are positive or negative. She always does the right thing, even when no one is looking. Introducing Chase Hazuka, a third grader from Worthing Elementary. Chase is always willing to go the extra mile in the classroom. He is very trustworthy, and I can count on him to do the right thing and to remind others of the expectations in a polite way. He represents citizenship in our school, as I often find he is volunteering to assist others in cleaning up at the end of the day or after messy activities. He is kind and considerate to others both in and out of the classroom. Please meet Taylor Caston, a fourth grader at R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. Taylor is a perfect example of what being a strong role model is at a school. She is constantly on task and following directions. She helps others who are struggling. She also helps out at the school's recycling club and is always willing to help out a friend. She has already mastered her multiplication facts, but works diligently to help others master their facts as well. Let's get to know Cadence Swanson from Hawthorne Elementary. She is a fifth grader. Cadence embodies the values of Hawthorne Elementary's Circle of Courage. Cadence has, since the beginning of the school year, consistently demonstrated generosity, belonging, independence, and mastery. By demonstrating belonging and generosity, which aligns with the character trait of kindness, Cadence includes others and strives to make every student or adult feel welcome at school. Jenica Hicks is a fourth grader at Lowell Elementary. Jenica is a great role model inside and outside of the classroom. Every day, she is excited to be at school, has a huge smile on her face, and keeps others around her accountable for their actions. She is a silent leader by always showing the right way to do things, and she is always the first to volunteer to help others and to do it correctly. When outside for recess, Jenica is the first person to go to our buddy bench to make sure everyone has a friend to play with. From Lennox Intermediate, here is Kaylee Storvik, a sixth grader. Kaylee is an extremely hard worker and will jump at any chance to help out in the classroom. She is actively involved with the Intermediate Student Council and is willing to listen and share others' ideas. She stays focused during class and is always a help to her classmates. She displays leadership through and through. Please meet Maddie Huey, a sixth grader from Tri-Valley Elementary. Maddie is a good friend, teammate, and partner in our classroom setting. She is willing to help others when asked and often does so without being prompted. She uses the method of teaching to assist others in their learning, where she is also pushing herself to be a strong learner in these situations. Maddie is a great example to her peers and shows strong character qualities by being a good, strong, and positive leader. Izzy Webster is a fifth grader and comes to us from Parker Elementary. Izzy demonstrates the marks of character daily in all aspects of the school day. Whether she works with a group, works alone, plays at recess, walks in a hallway, or has free time, Izzy shows respect, kindness, accountability, and trustworthiness. Let me introduce Graydon Verink, a fourth grader at Lennox Elementary. Respectful and kind might be what you notice about Graydon when you first meet him. He is friends with all students no matter their status. He has a quiet strength that surfaces when he is called upon for an answer or when another child needs help. To speak of only one great characteristic Graydon possesses is difficult. He is an absolutely fantastic kid, one that represents all 5 character traits like a boss. And now from Baltic Middle School, let's meet 8th grader Alex Dobbins. Alex displays accountability each day. I can always count on her to bring a positive attitude, high energy, and being a great teammate. One thing that stands out about Alex is her willingness to work with younger teammates and helping them get better each day. She showcases her kindness and respectfulness to her teachers, teammates, and coach every day. This is Maddox Stanley from Vermilion, a 4th grader at Jolly Elementary. Maddox displays great character traits all day long. He is a great role model for his peers, always doing what he is supposed to be doing. When he is finished with his work, he finds ways to be creative by making crosswords or writing and illustrating books with friends. Maddox holds himself accountable for his schoolwork and pushes himself to do his best. And now let me introduce Adud Arap, a 6th grader at St. Lambert Elementary. Adud is always very kind, accepting, and polite to those around her, whether it's her classmates, the school staff, younger students, or visitors. She is supportive of her classmates and other students in the school. Adud has 3 younger siblings whom she is very attentive towards, and they look up to her with admiration. Her personality is a positive one, and she can always be found with a smile on her face. So now let's meet Cadence Baxter, a 5th grader from R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. Cadence has an incredible ability to recognize when her classmates might need a friend. She is very compassionate and has a calming presence for students who are upset in any way. Cadence's care and concern for others is unmatched. And from Lennox Intermediate in the 6th grade, we meet Heidi Swanson. Heidi is a very kind and compassionate student. She is always concerned with those around her to make sure that they are okay. She always works very hard in class and is not afraid to ask questions when she is unsure. She is an absolute joy to have in class. Next, from Menno Public Schools, a 6th grader, this is Ashlyn Burkett. Ashlyn exemplifies accountability. She gives her best work in every assignment. She is very attentive and willing to help wherever needed. She helps others willingly and is respectful of others. I appreciate her efforts and excited to watch her grow academically. Introducing Ashfid Schkinder, a 6th grader at Tri-Valley Elementary. In the midst of middle school students trying to find a way to fit in, Ashfid does it while remaining true to herself. She does not compromise her values or give in to peer pressure. She is a very outgoing young lady who has the courage to speak her mind, yet does so in a respectful manner. The other students listen to her and look up to her. Ashfid is accountable in every way. This is a sophomore, Jonah Danzison from Harrisburg High School. Jonah is a model student in the Ag Metals course where I teach him. I can count on him to complete all his tasks on time. He is always willing to help other students or take the time to work on projects for the school or community. He is also a very respectful student. Please meet Avery Scholes, a fourth grader from R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. Avery demonstrates good character on a daily basis. She is an active listener, and she truly cares about what her classmates have to say. Even though she is quiet and reserved, she demonstrates small acts of kindness that many times go unnoticed. She is humble and selfless in her actions, words, and thoughts. Here is Elise Wild, a fourth grader from Baltic Elementary. Elise is a very trustworthy young lady. She can be trusted to always do her schoolwork, even if there are other things she would rather be doing. Her classmates can count on her to help them when needed. Elise can always be found spreading kindness around our classroom and school daily. I am so thankful that Elise is in our classroom for other students to look up to. Introducing Mackenzie Reish, who is a fifth grader at St. Catherine Drexel. Mackenzie is kind and helpful to everyone in class. She's very aware of the needs of others and helps others during work time. Mackenzie is very responsible. She gets her work turned in complete and in a timely manner. She is consistently trustworthy and respectful. On several occasions, I have seen Mackenzie go out of her way to make others feel included. And now Logan Koima, a fifth grader at Rosa Parks Elementary. Logan is an outstanding student and one of great character. He works hard and is willing to try new things and persevere until he reaches mastery. He is organized and thorough and is willing to put forth the effort required to succeed in all areas of learning and extracurricular activities. Logan always remains positive. He loves to be creative and enjoys a challenge when it is presented to him. He is a leader and a positive role model for all students. Kaylee Shemp is a junior at Menno High School. Kaylee Shemp is a very talented young artist. She always strives to do her best on each art project she is given. Kaylee has a positive attitude and is kind to her classmates, offering encouragement when needed. I have enjoyed having Kaylee as a student for several classes, and she has been a great asset to my class. Let's get to know Kason Meyer, a fourth grader at Liberty Elementary. Kason not only doles out his bright smile or kind words to his friends, but to every single person he comes across. In our classroom, he leads, encourages, and shares. When he sees someone is hurting or down, he does his best to be there for that person, lift them up, and let an adult know. Every classroom could use a leader, a positive example, a hard worker, and most importantly, a friend like Kason Meyer. This is Charlie Hill, a third grader at Freedom Elementary. Charlie is a learner at Freedom Elementary that stands out among others because of his work ethic and his ability to listen and understand with empathy. He consistently strives to meet his weekly goals and is up for taking a responsible risk at any part of the school day. Charlie is also willing to help other learners, whether it is picking up materials in the studio or coaching them on a math problem. And now Faith Keenan from R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. She is a fourth grader. Faith knows the importance of working hard during testing situations. She takes her time to do her best. She doesn't compare herself to others. She simply works hard. As a friend, Faith strives to be a quiet leader and someone who can be trusted. She puts forth 100% effort in everything she does and is humble about her successes. And now Carson Edwards, a sixth grader at Christ the King Elementary. Carson is a good student who is always willing to help others. He is kind to his classmates as well as other students and adults. Academically, Carson pushes himself to be the best student possible, working hard at everything he does inside and outside of school. Brianna Zeeb is a seventh grader at Menno. Brianna is a hard worker in and out of the classroom. She wants to do well in her classes and on her homework and shows this by asking questions during class or coming in during her study hall for extra help. She is always willing to help others with their homework and volunteers to help me with things around the classroom. When Brianna must miss class, she takes accountability for her homework and asks about assignments before she leaves instead of waiting until she returns the next day. Let's meet Connor Moeller, a sixth grader at Tri-Valley Elementary. Connor is a problem solver. He has worked to help himself and others work through challenges with teachers and peers in a respectful and responsible way. Connor demonstrates his character and is bold in his decisions to lead. He has been able to push himself and others to be their best by challenging them and himself to work toward positive goals. Next, we have Tegan Swear, a fifth grader at Lennox Intermediate. Tegan is a very responsible student who is always one step ahead of where she needs to be. She not only completes required assignments, but takes time out of her day to do other practice problems. She never has excuses, just immense amounts of responsibility and effort. It is always nice to see her in class working her hardest. Olivia Holman comes to us from Lennox Elementary, where she is in the fourth grade. Olivia is a leader with a firm foundation of exemplary and notable character traits. She models accountability, citizenship, kindness, respect, and trustworthiness each school day at an independent level beyond her school years and age. Here is Kaya Sherrard, a fifth grader from Rosa Parks Elementary. Kaya was a student council member as a fourth grader and is currently a fifth grade student council member. She has wonderful creative ideas. She not only has the great ideas, but she knows what needs to be done to accomplish them. She is always willing to jump in and get the work done. Kaya is a kind and caring student. I am proud of her hard work and her overall good character. Presenting Quinn Peters, a fourth grader at Endeavor Elementary. At the age of 10, Quinn Peters has already made her mark as an exceptional person. She is a role model for courage, determination, and character. Quinn has faced many trials in her young life, but you would not know it based on her positive nature and uplifting spirit. No matter what personal challenges she is facing, her family motto is, "Make a difference today." Quinn lives up to that motto each and every day. Now here is Kennedy Krell, a fourth grader from Baltic Elementary. Kennedy is such a sweet young lady with a big heart. She is always kind and thoughtful to those around her. While she is quiet and shy, her compassion and empathy speak volumes. She thinks about others before herself and is always positive, even when things get tough. Kennedy respects herself, peers, and elders. She doesn't speak negatively about anyone and knows how to disagree without fighting. Let's meet Jackson Wheeldryer, a sixth grader at St. Michael Elementary. Jackson is a very talented athlete, and his attitude and his sportsmanship is tremendous. He works hard every day. is respectful to the teachers and his fellow students, and is a great role model for the whole school to follow. He uses his manners everywhere in the school and has a smile on his face every day. I can always count on him to make good choices in class no matter what his peers are doing. He does not give in to peer pressure. A fourth grader from Worthing Elementary, this is Caitlin Overweg. It would be hard to pick only one of the 5 marks of character to describe Caitlin. Every day, Caitlin upholds each of the 5 marks of character. She is a student who watches out for younger children on the playground and cares for them when they are hurt. She takes her learning seriously and can be trusted to put her absolute best effort into every piece of work. And now, please meet Shayla Even in the 5th grade from Parker Elementary. Shayla is a student I can count on, continually asking if there's anything I need help with. There is this trust she has built with her peers that allows them to accept her help. Shayla is an excellent sister and ensures her little brother gets to where he needs to go before and after school. I know that I can pair her with anyone in the class, regardless of differences, and she will work with them to get the job done. Let me introduce Braden Beecroft. He's a 5th grader at R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. I am honored to nominate Braden Beecroft for this character award. Braden is always displaying a very kind, respectful, and positive attitude, even when others have not shown this towards him. Without being asked, he will help others who are struggling with an assignment or who simply needs a friend. He is definitely one who wants everyone to feel like they belong. Braden is an excellent role model for others. Next, we have Miley Hanson, a 5th grader from Annie Sullivan Elementary. Throughout her elementary school experience, Miley has exemplified each of the 5 marks of character. Miley's work ethic, gentle spirit, and caring nature have made her a role model of the highest degree. She treats both adults and other students alike with a deep sense of respect and kindness. Academically, Miley is a hard worker whose grit and determination have resulted in a consistently high degree of trustworthiness and accountability in the classroom. Let's meet Sydney Johnson, a 5th grader at Lennox Intermediate. Sydney is a student I would recognize for the showing of the marks of accountability and citizenship. She can always be counted on to help in the classroom and to always meet expectations. She is not afraid to encourage others to do what is expected when reinforcement is needed. Katie Devine comes to us from Liberty Elementary, where she is in the 4th grade. Katie is every teacher's dream, not only because of her outstanding work effort, but because she does the little things right each and every time. Katie is always accountable for her actions, no matter if I am asking her to take out a particular folder or walk down the hallway quietly. In a world of 9 and 10-year-olds, the little things a student will do for a teacher is a really big thing. Bridget Vaith is a sophomore at Menno High School. When I think of someone who stands out as a great person of character, I think of Bridget Vaith. Bridget is a role model for others to follow academically, socially, and spiritually. She always has a smile on her face and a positive word to say to those who cross her path daily. Though she has gone through some rough times in her life, she always seems to be looking for the rainbow after the storm. And now let me introduce Elijah Kendig, a 6th grader at Tri-Valley Elementary. Elijah is new to our school this year, but his impact on our classroom has been great. He's everybody's friend, generous with his kindness, and helpful to anyone who needs or asks for help. Academically, he's a very driven young man who loves to read. It is hard to pick one mark of character, but I believe Elijah exhibits respect to all students and teachers that he comes into contact with, and he has earned mine as well. Let me introduce Kinley Geigel, who is in the 4th grade at Baltic Elementary School. Kinley Geigel sets a great example of leadership abilities for her classmates every day. She always comes to class with a smile on her face and ready to do her best. Kinley always shows her kindness to her classmates by offering to help others in need. Her classmates also know they can always count on her to be friendly to everyone. Kinley's kindness is like no other, and my hope is that those who are on the receiving end of it continue to spread it so that it continues to grow. Now let's meet Linnell Cross, a 4th grader from Lowell Elementary. Linnell shows more responsibility and compassion than I've seen in a 4th grade student. She puts others' feelings before her own and is always looking for ways to help a friend or a teacher in need. She works hard in every aspect of school and strives to produce her best work every time. I am so grateful to have Linnell in my class and love seeing her set such a positive and optimistic example for those around her. Let's get to know Morgan Manthe, a 3rd grader at Freedom Elementary. Morgan exemplifies each of the 5 marks of character. She displays good character, leadership, and is a hard worker. She is consistently a role model for other learners in our class and is always conscientious about completing work to the highest standard possible. Morgan is truly a youth of character. This is Jack Laughlin from R.F. Pettigrew Elementary. He is in the 5th grade. Throughout his elementary years, Jack demonstrated kindness and respect to his classmates and to myself. He did this by helping others, noticing when someone needed a friend, and showing patience and understanding of others. An example is when he took it upon himself to help a new student who was struggling to make the best choices. His kindness was shining through, and he is definitely someone who is making a positive difference for all of us to learn by. And with great pleasure, I want to introduce you to Libby Kranz, who is in the 4th grade at Lenox Elementary. Step back and meet marvelous Miss Manners. Libby Kranz is a courteous and conscientious and demonstrates leadership skills through her daily routines. Her demeanor exudes an approachable confidence that invites others to be themselves and to trust in her. With these traits, Libby's future has limitless positive possibilities. Coming to us from Lenox Intermediate School, this is a 5th grader, Kenzie Bosma. Kenzie has a kind, can-do attitude that radiates to her peers and teachers. She voluntarily creates trash schedules for the 5th grade classes, cleans up the classroom, stacks chairs, and removes all the garbage into the hallway each day to make it easier for the janitor when he comes around and collects trash. Anytime the teacher is gone, she is right there making sure the substitute has everything he or she needs and helps make their day run as smoothly as possible. Let's meet Ninkat Fan, a 4th grader from Baltic Elementary School. Ninkat models the 5 marks of character on a daily basis. The one that stands out the most is her trustworthiness. Ninkat can be counted on to do the right thing even when it is hard to do. If Ninkot sees someone not making the best choices, she does not go along with them just because it might be the cool thing to do. She will follow the rules and encourage her friends to do the same. This is Sahasra Bonapali, a third grader at T Area Frontier. Sahasra is a great friend to all her classmates. Her teachers can trust her to be honest, hardworking, and fair. She does her best to problem solve independently for herself and her friends. She is a great leader for her classmates. Sahasra is very eager to excel in the classroom and goes above and beyond what she needs to do. She is also very kind to others. I have never heard her say anything negative to another classmate. Now let's meet Cullen Pollard, who's in the 6th grade at Memorial Middle School. Cullen is an outstanding, unique student. He has high expectations of himself, takes his job at school seriously, strives for excellence, and continually does the right thing. 1, 1002, 1003, 1000. We asked all of the students, if they chose to do so, to write an essay about what they have learned about themselves or how they live their lives by at least one of the 5 marks of character. This year's essays were amazing and inspiring. It's always a treat to see the direction and thought these young people have. This year's overall theme centered around building community, and it's even more remarkable because many of these were written before the coronavirus started to interrupt our lives. Let's look at them. Sydney from Lenox. Sydney wrote about role models and how important they are. She specifically said her mom was her role model and how the character trait of trustworthiness is a key to what being a role model is. And she points out how the role models we have now will be reflected in who we are as adults. Elena from Baltic. Being a person of good character, according to Elena, is a big deal because good character builds a better community. She focused on the character traits of trustworthiness, respect, and kindness, and how important it was to have them in your life at home, at school, and in your community. Kaysen from Harrisburg's Liberty Elementary. Every morning, Kaysen's mom tells him and his brother to be the light. He stresses that the little things can make a big difference when you want to be the light. Saying hello or just giving a smile will go a long way. Everyone should feel included and wanted. And, Kaysen noted, kindness doesn't cost anything. It's simple. Just be nice. Jalen from Lenox. Jalen talks about the importance of other people in our lives and how much a role model can impact who we become. She says her mom is her role model because she is a wonderful example of trustworthiness and is like a superhero. It is Jalen's hope to be like her mom when she grows up and to be a role model for other kids. Kinley from Baltic. Life, according to Kinley, is about being kind and looking out for others. Within each school, there is a community of kids, and some have lots of friends, and some have very few. Kinley wants us to be aware of everyone and make sure we include everyone in activity and play. She says it's a great way to find out about them and about ourselves. Katie from Harrisburg Liberty. Katie believes our greatest strengths are being able to be trusted and to be accountable. And it's not only about earning trust, it's about being trusted to do the right thing. Other people count on us to do our work on a team or in the classroom or at home. That might include sharing a smile with someone having a bad day. Esvet from Tri Valley. Esvet writes about accountability. It is, she says, about being responsible and doing what you say you will do. That means you don't make excuses if you fail, but own what you did and keep trying your best. Esvet believes accountability is being responsible, not making excuses, and always being on time. Landon from Parker. Landon says we need to look at kindness as a way to live our lives. He tries to model kindness every day. That makes him a role model and can inspire others to spread kindness around as well. It's like a butterfly effect, he said, because my actions can have a ripple effect and can cause others to be kind, and then you can't stop it. Kindness grows if you let it. Julius from Menno. Julius wrote about the power and strength of a community that works together. He said he moved to his town and didn't know anyone, but got involved and learned about the people there, and they learned about him. He found the heart of a community is when they come together as a whole and cooperate with each other. The community is the people, and they are there for one another. Briley from Brandon Valley's Robert Bennis Elementary. Briley says she believes in the power of kindness and how being kind is easy most of the time. But, she notes, there are times we all face when it's not easy being kind to someone. Briley says her grandmother's advice to kill them with kindness is the best way to go. Even when it's difficult, kindness creates happiness, and we could all use more happiness in the world. Kenzie from Lenox. School is a community, writes Kenzie, and community is about working together and helping out. She believes students should look for ways to help their teachers so they can do a better job for everyone. Little things like picking up in the classroom or volunteering to do some copies can give the teacher important time to help other students. Even doing things to help the custodians is a goal to work toward. Haven from Lenox. Haven writes about the importance of volunteering within our communities to help out in a number of ways. She talked about working at the banquet or the Ronald McDonald House in Sioux Falls and what an impact each of them had on her. But she also notes the little things that maybe can help out a sad person, like a smile or even taking a little time to talk and listen. We should be helping when and where we are needed without wanting anything in return. Bridget from Menno. Bridget's essay was on community, citizenship, and integrity. She wrote about a local disaster from flooding and how the people of her community came together. It was about doing the right thing, but even more than that. Bridget said it was a great example of what to do if given the chance to make a difference and to make the place you live even better. And that wraps up this year's Youth of Character Awards. We want to say a great big thank you to the sponsors of this event for their support that made it possible for us to do this, especially Spader Business Management and First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card for being presenting sponsors. We want to thank the parents of the students for doing an outstanding job, to the teachers who put in all kinds of extra work to educate our students at a high level of quality, and to the students for being that shining star that brings hope for the future and a satisfaction that, at any age, we can make a difference. Congratulations one more time from all of us at Character on Track for being a 2020 Character on Track Youth of Character.